Hey guys, and welcome to the Command Tower, where we make EDH Deck Techs. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, check out our new TCG Player affiliate link. It's in the description, and it helps us a lot if you use it. Today's deck is Sachi, Daughter of Seshiro. Sachi says, other snakes you control get +0/+1, and the shamans you control have tap, add 2 green mana to your mana pool, and it's choose a 1/3. So we're not going to worry about the snakes too much, but the deck is just going to have a ton of shamans in them. So you're going to get a ton of shamans out, and then you're going to tap for a ton of mana, play a bunch of big spells. Total price of this deck is $35.34. This is according to TCG Player, and does not include the price of basic lands. So let's get right into the deck. First off, we got ramp. And since our commander provides a lot of ramp, we're not going to need too much. Bosk Banneret. Tree folk spells and shaman spells you play cost 1 less to play. Ronus' Monument. Green creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a creature spell, target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. Which is going to be super useful, because you're going to have big creatures, you make them even bigger, and you give them trample. Centaur Omen Reader. As long as it's tapped, creature spells you play cost 2 less to play, which is one of the best cards of the deck, because you're going to tap it for 2 green mana with your commander, and then he's going to be tapped, and everything's going to cost way less. Leyline of Abundance. If it's in your opening hand, you can start with it on the battlefield. Whenever you tap a creature for mana, you get an additional green mana. So you're going to tap all your creatures for 3 mana. If you pay 8, you put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Sakura Tribe Elder. He's a snake shaman, which is helpful. And if you sacrifice him, you get a basic land on the battlefield tapped. Kamal's Heroic Vow. You can only cast it if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker, which you will. You look at the top X cards of your library. You can put any number of land and or legendary permanent cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest in your graveyard. So you're not going to have a lot of permanents, but getting lands on the battlefield is going to be super helpful. And Animus Awakening. Reveal the top X cards of your library. Put all land cards from among them on the battlefield tapped. And the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Has Spell Mastery. If there are 2 or more instant and or sorcery cards in your graveyard, untap those lands. And since we're going to have a ton of mana, we can just play these for really high CMC. And it's just going to get you a ton of lands. Next up, we got some shamans. Their effects may not be great, but once they can tap you for 2 mana, they're going to be really useful. Essence Warden. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain a life. Orochi Sustainer. It taps for a green mana. Skin Shifter. You pay a green, you choose 1. Till end of turn, he equals a 4/4 and gains trample, 2/2 with flying, or a 0/8. Wolfskull Shaman. He has kinship. At the beginning of your upkeep, you can look at the top card of your library. If it shares a creature type with him, you may reveal it and put a 2/2 on the battlefield, which is going to be helpful because there's going to have a lot of shamans, and getting creatures on the battlefield is going to be nice. Elvish Visionary. When it enters battlefield, you draw a card, so it's overall decent. Adaptive Automaton. When it enters battlefield, you choose a creature type, so you're going to choose Shaman. It is the chosen creature type in addition to its other types, and other creatures you control of the chosen type gets +1/+1. Masked Admirers. When it enters battlefield, you draw a card. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you can pay 2 green mana. If you do, return it from your graveyard to your hand. So it's going to help you get some cards. Yeva, Nature's Herald, has Flash, and you can cast green creature spells as though they had Flash, which is going to be super useful. You can just play your shamans anytime. Sakura Tribe Springcaller. At the beginning of your upkeep, you add a green mana to your mana pool. This mana doesn't cause mana burn. Until end of turn, this mana doesn't empty from your mana pool as the phase is end. And it's just going to help you get some more mana. Then we got 2 cards that are going to help you untap your shamans. Copperhorn Scout. When he attacks, untap each other creature you control. And Vitalize, which is a very, very good card. Because for 1 green mana, you untap all creatures you control, which is just going to save you a ton of mana and get you a ton more. Then we got some cards that are going to help you deal extra damage by buffing up your creatures. Tribal Unity. Creatures as a creature type of your choice gets +X/+X until end of turn, so you're going to choose Shamans. Strength of the Tajru. Multi-kicker for 1. Choose target creature, then choose another target creature for each time the spell is kicked. Put X 1/1 counters on each of them. So you're going to have a lot of mana, so you can just get a lot of 1/1 counters on creatures. Overwhelming Stampede. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample. Get +X/+X, where X is greatest power among creatures you control. And we have some big creatures in the deck, so our creatures are just gonna get huge. End raise Forerunners. Vigilance, Trample, Haste. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance from Trample ton a turn. Just overall a good card. Overrun. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain Trample ton to end a turn. Again, just buffing up your creatures is done. Decree of Savagery. You either put 4/1 counters on each creature you control. If you cycle it, then you put 4/1 counters on target creature. And Vitalizing Wind. Creatures you control get +7/+7 till end a turn, which could win you the game right there if you played it. Then we got some Mana Sinks. So basically, Mana Sinks are cards that have activated abilities that you can just use your mana on, even if you have too much mana. Kazandu Tusk Color, level up for 2, and level 2 through 5, it taps to create a 3/3, and level 6 up, it taps to create 2 3/3s. Rochi Egg Watcher, you pay 3, tap it, put a 1/1 green snake creature into play. If you control 10 or more creatures, you flip them. You pay a green, sacrifice a creature, target creature gets +3/+3 till end turn. Jade Mage, you can just pay 3 to put a 1/1 onto play, which is overall pretty good. Rochi Hatchery, very good card. Enters battlefield with extra charge counters on it. You pay 5, tap it, put a 1/1 green snake creature token on the battlefield, here's your charge counter on it. Now, your snakes you control get +0/+1 too, so they'll be even bigger. Gelatinous Genesis, create X, XX green ooze creature tokens. And Waker of the Wilds, X and 2 green, put X/1/1 counters on target land you control, and that land becomes a 0/0 elemental creature token with haste. It's still land. Reach of Branches, put a 2/5 green tree folk shaman creature token on the battlefield. Whenever a forest enters the battlefield under your control, you can return it from your graveyard to your hand. So you're going to play a forest every turn, you can keep getting this back, and you can always play it. Ursapine, you pay a green, target creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. It's just overall good, because you can attack with a bunch of creatures, and before damage is dealt, you can just buff them up. Oran Reef Invoker, you can pay 8, and he gets +5/+5 and trample until end of turn, which might not be super useful, but he's also a shaman, so doesn't matter. Then we got some big creature spells. Vastwood Hydra, enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters on it, and when it dies, you can distribute a number of 1/1 counters, equal number of 1/1 counters on it, among any number of creatures you control. So it's just going to be a really big creature. When it dies, you can just make a bunch of big creatures. Genesis Hydra, when you cast it, reveal the top X cards of your library, put a non-land permanent card with a mana cost X or less, throwing them onto the battlefield, and shuffle the rest of your library. Enters the battlefield with X/1/1 counters on it. So you better get a big creature out of it and a free spell. Domesticated Hydra is X and 3 green for Monstrosity X. If this creature isn't monstrous, you put X/1/1 counters on it and becomes monstrous. As long as it's monstrous, it has trample. So you can just take 1 turn and just dump all of your mana into this thing. And just make it huge, and since it has trample, attack for a ton of mana. Living Hive, trample, when it deals combat damage to a player, put that many 1/1 counters, not 1/1 counters, 1/1 insect creature tokens on the battlefield. Archetype of the Endurance, creatures you control have hexproof. Creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and can't have or gain hexproof, which giving all your shamans hexproof is going to be so good, because nobody's going to be able to kill them unless they board wipe, and you're just going to keep getting more and more mana. Bellowing Tangleworm, Intimidate, and other green creatures you control have Intimidate. So, making your green creatures possibly unblockable is going to be super useful. And Gigantomancer, you pay a 1, target creature you control becomes a 7/7 till end of turn. This is so good because buffing up all your small shamans is at 7/7s is going to be super useful. And Garruk's Horde, trample, play with the top card of your library revealed, and you can cast the top card of your library if it's a creature card. And this is a lot of creatures in this deck, so you'll probably be able to cast it. Now we got some card advantage, and since this is a creature-based deck, we're going to have a lot of creature-based card advantage. Soul of the Harvest, trample, whenever a non-token creature enters battlefield under your control, you draw a card. And Beast Whisperer, whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card. And Primordial Sage is the same thing. Lifecaster's Bestiary. At the beginning of your upkeep, you scry 1. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you can pay a green to draw a card. Collective Unconscious, draw a card for each creature you control. Shamanic Revelation is the same, but you gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Regal Force, when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card for each green creature you control. And Enshrined Memories, reveal top X cards in your library, put all creature cards revealed this way into your hand, rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And Wildest Dreams, return X target cards from your graveyard to your hand and exile it. And then we got Lore Seeker's Stone. You pay 3 and tap it, draw 3 cards, and it costs 1 more to activate for each card in your hand. And all these last cards are great because it's X or just high mana cards, and you're going to have that much mana, so you can use them really well. Then we got Removal. Reclamation Sage. When it enters the battlefield, you can destroy target artifact or enchantment. Worker Bow Elder. Enters the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on it. If you pay a green, remove the -1/-1 counter from it, you destroy an artifact or enchantment. Null Mage's Shepherd. Tap 4 untapped creatures you control. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Viridian Corruptor is an Infect, and when it enters the battlefield, to destroy an artifact. Viridian Shaman enters the battlefield to destroy an artifact. And all of these are good because they're all shamans. So, you destroy stuff, and you get to tap for mana. Broken Bond, destroy an artifact or enchantment. Get a land from your hand on the battlefield. Scour from Existence, exile target permanent. Desert Twister, destroy target permanent. Predator Flagship, you pay 2, target creature gains flying until end of turn. If you pay 5 and tap it, destroy target creature with flying. These are all very high mana, but you're going to have that much mana. So paying high mana for good removal is going to be worth it. Kenrith's Transformation, enchant creature. When it enters battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature loses all abilities. It is a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3. Lastly, we got lands. Oran Reap the Vastfoot enters the battlefield tapped, and it taps for green. You can put a 1/1 counter on each green creature that enters the battlefield this turn. Memorial to Unity enters the battlefield tapped, taps for green. If you pay 3, tap it, sacrifice it. Look top 5 cards in your library. Reveal a creature card from among them and put it in your hand. Rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Rogue's Passage, taps are colorless, pay 4, tap it. Target creature can't be blocked this turn, which is good because you're going to have some really big creatures. Blighted Woodland, taps are colorless, pay 4, tap it, sacrifice it. Search your library for 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library. And Mirrored Landscape, enters the battlefield tapped, taps are colorless. If you pay 2, tap it, sacrifice it, get 2 basic lands on the battlefield tapped. And then we got 32 forests. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.